On this episode of Delivering Marketing Joy, I talk with Jason Nokes, and he tells us about his new project, PromoPulse. Hey there, and welcome to yet another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and joining me today is a brand new guest. I've been trying to get him on here for a while, so I'm excited to have Jason Nokes. He's the founder of the brand new PromoPulse, which is exciting. So welcome to the program, man.
Thanks, Kirby. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited about it. I want to jump right in. So let's start with the obvious, right? You've launched a new company in the promo space. It's called PromoPulse. So tell us about this. It's an app. Tell us about the app and why you decided to do it.
Sure. It's the app is, we made it just for the promotional products industry. What it does, it takes content from everybody. So from service providers, from suppliers, thought leaders like yourself, associations, and we bring it all in one place. We monitor Facebook and Twitter and blogs and anything. And so distributors can come into the app, and instead of searching around trying to find content wherever, it's in one easy spot for them. And so it's free for distributors to use. And when I had the idea, I felt like being a distributor. Distributor's a tough job, and so as you know this, so you have clients coming at you all the time. You need to come up with new ideas and inspiration. And, I think the industry, we haven't done ourselves a favor. We've made it hard. The industry's hard. We have numbers and codes, and we have this general paranoia going on at all times. And so, and then there's a lot of great content and information, but it's here and there. It's in blogs, it's in social posts, it's in email blasts, it's in product information or whatever. And so there's the kind of I hate to use the term bias, but you have ASI and you have PPAI, and so you have these two different things going on over here. And so I thought, to make it easier, if we could bring all that great stuff into one spot, and allow distributors to, they can use it once a day. They can go in to get kind of caught up with the news. Whenever they need a new idea or inspiration, they could go in there. The other nice thing that I found, that I've been using it myself personally, you can like, for example, you had something yesterday that I didn't have time to read, but I saved it. And then another example, I had a friend that was going to run her own conference, and so she was asking me for ideas first before she reached out to a distributor. And so I went into the app, I typed in the word conference, and I found some great products, like this journal book from Journal Books. But then I also found I wrote down The Art of the Follow-Up. It was a post by Maple Ridge Farms, and it was for conferences. And so that's what I find, or I think the app is really useful, is not only just product information, but it also can find all this other great content. And so, cool. But that's on the distributor side. My experience as a supplier and service provider, it was hard. I felt it was hard to reach distributors, especially the service provider, because when I was formerly at Distributor Central, we obviously couldn't use ASI for marketing and things like that. But it was there was kind of limited choices. I just found it difficult to reach distributors. And, and then when you did, creating the content, it was expensive, in time and resources, and making sure you got the right message and creating it. And so with PromoPulse, it's designed to repurpose existing supplier and service provider marketing content. So they don't have to make new content per se. We'll just expose it out to a larger audience. And so, and it can be immediate too. By doing Facebook and Twitter, you can get your message out immediately, to the industry. I realize that it goes out to Facebook and Twitter also, but it also, people from high school and all your neighbors and everything else is all mixed in there. So, and lastly too, with I'm fascinated by technology. I'm not aware of any other mobile first apps in our industry, and so I just want to do something that was more modern and mobile has a lot of more flexibility than desktop and other technology. So I was really excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, from the very beginning, obviously, you and I had talked about this a little bit in the past, and the idea of putting all the content in one place is super interesting because you're right. I mean, there's some great providers out there of content, but they're all in different places. So I think this is a cool idea, and in the interest of transparency, I was just looking, and I've got it on my phone right there.
Sweet.
So okay, so you just mentioned Distributor Central, and you were with a great company there at DC for many years. So I'm curious, now you're the entrepreneur, how hard was it to make this leap?
Yeah, it was tough. It was so tough. It was probably the toughest thing I've ever done in my life. And so, I had confidence in myself. I've always, kind of like yourself, I've always had other businesses going.
Yeah.
I've had jobs, but then I've had all these side hustles for years and years and years. And so I had the confidence that I could run and create a business because I had done it before many times. But just leaving, I was employee number one at DC. I was there from the very beginning for when the idea first came out of Tom's mouth. And so, it was so tough that I had my resignation letter in my pocket for a week before I turned it in. So I put it in my pocket every day, and then I came home and put it back on the dresser, and then I picked it up. I just couldn't pull the trigger because it was kind of my life's work. It was all, I hired almost everybody that worked for me. I was a mentor. I felt like I was letting the team down. It was excruciating. So, but I finally decided I'm not getting younger, and this is, really like this idea, and I like doing my own thing. And so and the timing seemed right. So it was one of the things, if you step back, in several years, and didn't do it, it would have been just obvious. It's like this was the time to do it. Why didn't you do it? So.
Yeah, no, that's a great. It is a very difficult thing to pull the trigger, but I feel you on this, and I think that's great. It's congratulations. So, I'm curious. A final question for you. So, what are you most excited about the new venture, and what scares you the most?
Well, the most exciting thing is just, it's always fun to do new things, right?
Yes.
And after all these years of competing against, big companies, I guess Sage, and they do a great job, and DC does a great job, and Commsku does a great job, and Essen, and all these guys, and they're all my friends too. Mm-hmm. But what I was attempting to do is create my own product segment, and at least for now, without competition, and try to just create something new. And so it's exciting to take what I feel is a hole in the industry and try to fill that hole and do a good job, and then innovate from there.
Yeah.
The scary thing is I have to feed my family. So so that was that's the thing that woke up the day after I resigned. I woke up at 2 or 3 in the morning and never went back to sleep. I had never had a panic attack or anxiety attack, and I think that was it right there, because it was just frightening to give up the steady paycheck. And so that's the biggest, most obvious fear. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else I need to be too scared of.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I appreciate your honesty and your vulnerability there, because that's true. As someone who has been an entrepreneur, I have totally been awake at the same time and gone, okay, what am I doing today? And so
I call it the 3 a.m. freakouts.
Yeah, absolutely. So I appreciate your transparency, and I wish you the best of luck. So you've answered my 3 questions. I give everybody a chance to ask me one question. Do you have one for me?
Yes, I do. It's something that I've fantasized over for a long time. I am kind of getting it because I don't necessarily have a real job anymore at the moment.
Okay.
But what I've always fantasized about is what I would do if I had 2 extra hours per day. And so that's my question. If you were blessed with 2 extra hours and nobody else had, how would you use them?
I'm reminded, it's a great question. I've never been asked that question. I think that The reality of it is I would probably work and I need to not. But if I were to be intentional on the front end, I think I would do the things that I think make me more productive. It reminds me of, I think it was Abraham Lincoln who said that if I had 6 hours to cut down a tree, I'd spend the first 5 hours sharpening the saw. I think that if I had 2 extra hours, I think I struggle to find time to meditate. I would make time to meditate. I struggle to have time to exercise. I would spend, and I do these things, but I always wish I had more time to do them.
Yeah.
And I would probably spend time kind of focusing on goals. So it's probably a little bit counterintuitive, if that makes sense. I mean, I think you'd think, oh, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to start a new business. I'm going to do this. I find that when I do 2 or 3 things, and the meditate, the exercise, the sleep, the self-care, spending time with my wife and my kids, those are sort of my why. When I spend time there, I tend to be more productive on the other end. And so if I had 2 more hours, I think that's probably what I'd do with my time. So is that fair?
Excellent. Great answer.
Cool, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you taking the time. I'm excited for you and your new journey.
Thank you.
And we'll have to do it again sometime, okay?
Excellent. Thanks, Kirby.
You bet. So that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.